What the fuck is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cryptic and Unhinged, and our first ever video episode. Round of applause. This was filmed in front of a live studio audience. Honestly, I feel like I should turn down my white noise, but who the fuck is gonna hear it? Also, if MJ steps on my keyboard at any point, it is not my fault. Okay? Ow! Fuck her. She's been actual, big menace lately. I don't understand why. But anyways, I'm just sitting here, kind of contemplating life right now. And today we're going to be talking about advice, which is really honestly needed for both ends. I need to feel like I'm somewhat mature, somewhat wise, because, I don't know, I'm kind of down and out. It's been a rough finals week. I've got exes hitting me up. I got to go home for the holidays. My mom's ripping pissed. I got my TikTok taken away. So make sure you follow my backup TikToks. On that note, I know we're still early into the episode, but make sure you're following the blonde girl with a 0 in it and a 1 in it. It'll probably pop up if you just search the blonde girl. Also, Mary-Kate Willis is my other backup because I even got the blonde girl deleted. I'm about to get posting rights back on that in 20 minutes. So it kind of fucking sucks. But we're here. We have a video camera now. I had to take the stuffed animals off my bed, respectfully, and then clean up the area because my room's in shambles. I'm in shambles. I have to pack to go home. I leave tomorrow. Have not even started packing yet. I take the cat with me. I spent all day trying to figure that shit out. I'm stressed out. I could use some fucking advice right now, but here I am acting like I'm in a position to give it to you. But you know what? What the fuck else is new? I always think I'm high and mighty. I'm also holding the mic because I don't have a proper mic stand. I should have bought a taller one, but we're still figuring out the whole setup. Obviously, I don't know if I want this to be on my bed either. But yeah, who knows? Who knows what'll happen? Can I fold this? Oh my god, so nice. I can hold it in like this. I just want to keep this thing on it because I have a tendency to eat the microphone, and I also talk really loud. Anyways, I asked you guys questions on my Instagram story through an Instagram question box. You answered it. I think we'll answer those. I have to figure out how to pull them up, and I figure out how to do that, we maybe smoke a bowl. I have my bong, but this is awesome. This is the one thing that I wanted to do was smoke with you guys, but oh god, getting weird DMs still from men. I wish I didn't check that. I blocked a lot of them last night in my defense. So, okay, let's see. It's archive, right? That's what I'm checking on Instagram. Good thing I'm at 12% battery and don't have a charger anywhere near me. That's awesome. I can always send them to my laptop, I guess. Not post archive, stories archive. Let's see. When did I even ask this? I don't even... Aha. It's the Lucy from Charlie Brown. So there's a lot. Wow, there's a lot. You guys answered or asked a lot of questions. So, whoa. Oh my god, there's so many. Alright, we're definitely taking a bowl. Some of these are intense, too. We'll get it covered. We will get it done. I will answer every single one of these. Also, I'm going to be reading names, so I hope you guys are proud of what she said. Going to give you a little shout out here. Tonight, I went to the store to go get cigarettes because I shop. You guys know this about me. And they're banning flavored vapes, so I went and got my last Elf bar. It's a strawberry ice. I've never even used a strawberry ice. But I used to get peach ice, so I felt like maybe I'll like this. Maybe it'll be bad, though. I don't know. I just like the pink ones. Oh, it's a cute color. Okay, let's get this open. It tastes like a strawberry hide chew. It's not bad at all. And for now, the cigarettes. I also just cleaned my bowl and my stem and changed the water because I'm not going to lie, I hadn't changed it in a few days. Things that I'm already not liking about having a camera aspect added to this. I had to put fucking sock slippers on. I can't look ugly. I had to think about my outfit, which doesn't look like it, right? I did the bare minimum. But, there was just a lot of things. I'm also really considering how dirty my room is for... I don't know, once in my fucking life. I'm so parched and I have to stay up tonight. Hacking. This is my bong. I've had this bong, I don't know if you can see, but it's crooked. I've had it for 3 years now. She served me well. She's a veteran. Longest piece I've ever had without breaking it. I've dropped it several times. It's just really thick glass. And who the fuck dumped out the water from the top? Probably me. That's not even fucking front. Also, the bowl is green. This is from another bong that I broke because I broke the piece to this. I've broken bowl pieces. I've broken down stems, but I've not broken the actual bong, knock on wood, yet. So, let's take a little rip. I don't want MJ to be right up in my face when I take this. Because I'm usually pretty respectful with that, especially when it comes to her, as I'm literally hitting her in the face. Let me turn the volume up on this a little bit. Maybe you guys can hear me better? I don't know. It kind of looks like it on the thing. I just turned it way the fuck up, so we'll see how that works. I'm nervous to go home tomorrow, like actually shitting my pants. Nothing in me wants to go. Oh, I forgot I cleared it out. I also accidentally made the hole way too big because I went in there with a... Yeah, I definitely busted out the glass. I went in there with a fucking scissor. Yep. I've broken several bowls doing that alone. I used to pick a Lucky out of cigs, and then I had this one ex who would always smoke my Luckies. Actually, both of them. Why do they do that? Men don't know about the Luckies. Which is funny, because I feel like my friend's dad put me onto doing the Luckies in the first place. Oh yeah, I definitely broke this bowl. Didn't always look like that. Did not always look like that. It's also a little wet on the inside, so this might not work. I was gonna, wipe it off, but I've already stopped this to get up and get my weed. I don't like you sitting right in front of my fucking face with this. You're making me anxious. The cat is making me nervous. She's so needy. She didn't want to be near me all fucking night, and now she's like, meh, meh, meh. I want to sit right here. Can you go away? I love you, but can you go away? That's why we always keep lids on things. If you have an animal and you sesh, you just really cannot let them near it. And she doesn't even have any interest in the weed. My other cat fucking loves weed because, it was always around me in high school. She hates it. She just does not like the smell. And I have incense going right now with the window open, and 2 different fans. I'm very conscientious about the fact... Conscientious? I don't know if that's the right word. My brain's fried. Finals killed me. I love how we're 9 minutes in and I've done nothing to the episode that I'm supposed to. I just kind of jumped right in today. Apologies if you can't hear me, too. I'm trying my best to just do this all at once. My back hurts. I hope I'm doing this camera thing right, too. I just put it on all the auto settings, and the exposure and the shutter settings were super low when I first opened the camera. So, oops, I just got weed on my bed. Imagine, you couldn't hear any part of that, and I'm gonna have to cut that entire fucking part of me not holding the mic. But, do you think I can just hold the mic? Probably not. I don't trust myself. Alright, here goes nothing. Cheers. I packed this too full. You chose to sit right there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It kind of snapped. It also didn't taste good at all. Every chop I take tastes different. Okay, I'm not gonna torture her and take a second, even though I want to. We'll take a second in a bit. We'll space it out. Pace ourselves. Alright, so the first one I got was from Emily. And Emily asks how to feel validated in your emotions while your whole childhood told you not to. Or you were told not to. Well, I honestly have been seeing this TikTok trend go around right now where it's your parents always sent you to your room the second you got emotional. And I feel like that. And I honestly, I hate to say this, and it's the only answer, is therapy. That is the only thing that has made me feel better about, I don't know, my trauma and like made me feel comfortable in my own skin and helped me find productive ways to channel that. Do I still unproductively like channel my pain and stuff like that? Abso-fucking-lutely. I definitely do all the time. But in that particular instance, yeah, I would say definitely therapy would help kind of cope with just everything and learn to like validate yourself, because that's ultimately what you have to do. Like reparenting is so big, and that's what I learn about every single time in therapy. So like just learning to give yourself the validation that you never got growing up is so fucking important, and it makes the emotions come and go easier, not gonna lie, because then when you subdue them they just like blow up. Cadence asks, she asked 2 questions, thank you, bae. Advice on living in an apartment with toxic roommates in college. So I didn't live in an apartment, but I lived with some girls that like it just ended really volatilely. Like I moved out like ASAP. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't talk to the girl that I shared a bathroom with for probably 6 months. It was pretty fucking awful. I just wanted to leave there. I think I left in May, like a month early. I got my house available, and the guy I was seeing at the time moved away, and I moved myself in with 2 of my friends. I put on my story, I was like, I need to get the fuck out of my house. Can anyone help me move, like, last minute tomorrow? And I had my guy friend reach out, and my girlfriend and her roommate, and they're the best. They moved me out so quick, and I think the other roommates, like, sensed that I was leaving. I tried to be pretty vocal about it, because even though we didn't talk, like, we lived in the same house, like, you could hear conversations, and I just tried to be like, oh, I'm going, and she, like, the one that I did not really get along with the most just stayed the fuck out the day that I was leaving. So, honestly, we haven't talked since, blocked on everything. I think just, like, if you can break the lease and sublease your place, I would do that, but I wasn't in a position to do that. I was living like during quarantine times. No one was trying to just randomly lease a house like halfway through the year. No one was going abroad, but finding someone that's going abroad is a really good way to like sublease and get a new place. The next question that Cadence asked was, how do I not self-sabotage in relationships? See, a lot of these questions that you guys are asking, I feel like I'm so guilty of. So there's gonna be people like watching this, like, who know me in real life, definitely thinking, what the fuck? Like, is this bitch in any position to be giving advice on this? No, probably not. Am I ever? Not really. But are we gonna do it anyway? Yeah. So I'm a big self-sabotager in relationships, and I have like mainly trust issues. Like I don't trust men. I don't trust men just based on my trauma. You can't blame me. I don't blame a lot of women for not trusting men. But I think, like, in all relationships, you have to trust your partner, like, going into it. And I don't know in what way that you self-sabotage, but I think letting them know that you have a problem with that and just making them aware of your circumstances is one way. But you also have to take accountability for yourself and know when you're going to act like that and own up to it and apologize. Because I think it's okay if you can't immediately, like, no one changes overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't erase your fucking trauma and just, like, wholeheartedly, like, throw yourself into a relationship. I think it's ultimately you going to be, like, teaching yourself. Again, reparenting, you know? Like, it sucks. I never had healthy relationships modeled for me growing up either, and I think that impacted my relationships a lot, too. Paige asks, how to best live in the moment and not worry about bullshit things that might happen in the future. That is, like, living presently is such a huge fucking challenge, I think, for everyone. And when you live in, like, the digital age, you can see all the time, like, what your life could become, because there's just so many people out there. Like, I personally have been really freaked out about post-grad and, like, what that's going to be like. And I find myself sometimes having to, like, leave functions because I'm so freaked out about the fact that, like, my friends and I aren't going to talk anymore and people are going to move away. And I'm not going to have a job and I'm going to be scared and fundsless and I'm not going to be able to afford things. But ultimately, you have to remember that is not now. Like, there is nothing you could do in this present moment besides put in a little motivation that's, you know, going to help you get towards that goal. So if you're out with your friends like I am and you're freaking out about the future, you have to be like, this is not, like, going out for fun. This is going out to distract myself from my anxieties, and, like, this is not going to help me. My white noise just turned off, and I have tinnitus. Self-diagnosed tinnitus. I'm also a hypochondriac. Let me turn that back on. Need to have it going at all times. But yeah, I would just say, like, checking yourself. Like, I too have to be very consciously aware of my self-talk and the things that I'm saying in my head. Like, your subconscious is so fucking evil sometimes, and it's all goes back to reparenting. Like, you just get stuck in the way of doing things, and it doesn't make it okay just because it's the most comfortable thing for you. You know what I mean? And, like, you think it's normal, but it's really not to think a certain way or to have these thought patterns. And it's, like, training yourself to get out of them. It sucks. It's kind of like when someone tells you when you're depressed, have you ever tried, like, being happy? Like, doing things that make you happy? No, I didn't fucking think of that. You know, like, when you're anxious, try not being anxious. It sounds dumb, but you can do it. I definitely talked myself out of being negative. Leah asks, making friends in college. Also, I love you a lot. I would die to sesh with you. We are seshing right now, so hopefully you're watching this, Leah. And honestly, when I was struggling making friends in college, I really relied on the people that I had already met. Like, no one really tells you this, especially if you don't have older siblings. I went into college blind as fuck. Like, my siblings did not have the typical college experience. My older siblings, and both ended up dropping out in their first year and had to go back and just kind of did it on their own time after that. So me fully committing as a full-time college student was something that, like, hasn't really been done in my family. A lot of people in my family have had their college experience disrupted due to their addictions as well. Which was kind of nerve-wracking, you know, thinking about that and knowing that, like, oh, your 20s is where you hit your rock bottom. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to drop out of school. And dropping out of school is, like, a familial trauma cycle for me. So I think I was just really committed to staying and sticking in and being a part of it. And I made friends who had siblings that either went to our school or, like, they kind of knew the ropes, or they had friends that had just, like, cued them in. And I knew I was going to have to put myself out there. Like, my mom kept reminding me, like, no one knows anyone. You also have to remember going into college that, like, you all chose the same school, so you automatically all have a commonality. Especially if you go to a small school like me, like, what the fuck brought you here is a great conversation starter. Like, just be nice. Just be outwardly. And it's hard when you've kind of been introverted in the sense of, like, you made your friend group and grew up in the same place and always had the same friends. I'm the same way. I didn't move around a lot, so I wasn't used to starting over, especially in a whole new state. Like, there was a lot of shit that just, like, kind of overwhelmed me, but having my roommates there and, like, just knowing that it was all going to work out at the end of the day really, really helped me. And I don't have all the same friends that I did from the first week of school. There's definitely been some people that, as time has gone on, I've been like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to be friends with this person. And that's gonna happen too. Like, just know that college is kind of weird in the way that your friend groups change really rapidly, and that's normal. You'll find who you're supposed to be with, and you'll click with different people, and that's just part of the college experience. You're here to, like, make connections. Look at it as a networking sense too, you know? Okay, so another one asked by Macy was, what advice would you give to someone starting content creating? This is a great question. Thank you for asking this, Macy. I would recommend posting, if you're doing TikTok, honestly, any social media app, consistency is key. That was probably the best lesson I've gotten from social media. When everything is AI run, or artificial intelligence, if you don't know what that means, it's all run by computers. So you're getting boosted solely based on the content that you post and the frequency that you post at. So you just have to, no breaks, all gas, no breaks, post as much and as frequently as you can. And just keeping on that grind, you'll see a trend in followers. I think also doing some research into social media marketing is a huge, huge beneficiary. Like, I luckily had my major as communications and my minor as creative and cultural industries. So I've been lucky enough to take classes like social media influencing and marketing. So I kind of knew what TikTok was before I even content created on it. And how to market. I have friends who do, like, PR and ad, and they've really helped me expand my view on that. And then obviously getting management helps, but you kind of have to build your following before that. I used to only post once a month, but that was when TikTok was, like, anyone who posted semi-regularly could get a following. And now it's way harder to get a following on TikTok because so many people are on it. I think it's one of the most popular social media apps and has risen to popularity faster than apps that have been around for decades. So Yeah, I mean, it's just now becoming very competitive. I would recommend doing Instagram Reels. I think that's like the easiest place to blow up, shockingly, right now. Although Instagram has been notoriously known as like the hardest algorithm. I just found out, by the way, my friend who does social media marketing like for a job or like a side hustle, I guess, his business is all online, small business like trading Pokemon cards. He calls me the other night and is telling me how Bella Thorne buys her fucking Instagram engagement. What? I'm sorry, what? And then he like starts showing me, like, if you look through it, all of them are bot accounts. And then I was talking to my management about that, and I was like, I didn't know celebrities like Justin Bieber and Bella Thorne bought their engagement. And she was like, yeah, but have you ever noticed that when Instagram does like wipeouts of bot accounts that celebrities lose the most followers? I was like, damn. So I could have known that. But really interesting. You can literally buy your fame. So, you know, that's always an option if you want to take the lazy way out. But it will catch up to you, and the algorithm will catch up to you, and will know that most of your followers are falsified. And I think people, it's pretty obvious, you know. I would never buy my following. I've never done that. I can say that with pride. And that's what I was getting, like, praised on last night. It's really hard to build an authentic following, especially because people are using shit like that. Like, social media has entirely become a fucking arena in that way. And I don't even think, like, the average person knows it, because a lot of people don't know what influencers do, you know? Antonia asks, Bestie, I promise I will listen as soon as finals are over. That wasn't an ask. That was a statement, but I appreciate you saying that. Holly said, I'm in said relationship with Plug, and you talked about that on the pod. What was that like mental health-wise? Yeah, I would say that was pretty crippling. It was easy and, like, fun at first because, you know, when he's the Plug, all these guys are coming over, girls, and you meet all these people, and everyone knows them, and it was fun. And we got to smoke in his house, and I always got weed or carts or jewel pods, like anything I needed, he would supply me with, alcohol even. And we used to, I'm not gonna lie, like, I sipped lean very briefly with him. I think only twice. Just made my stomach hurt a lot. But he had a lot of access to just many different things. And it was good until it wasn't. Like, then he used shit like that over my head. He, like, Pavlov dogged my ass. So I'd get excited to go to his house so I could smoke and see him. And I think that's where my whole relationship with being obsessed with either the addicts or the Plug came into play. Because I myself have a dependency on substances, especially weed. Semi-alcohol sometimes, obviously, with all these events that have happened within the last year. It's I don't know. It's freaky. I don't like to think about that. But yeah, definitely wasn't a great time in my life. Definitely was a bit crippling. I don't know what your name is. RXEEXE. I don't know what. Yeah. How can you stay positive when you first take shrooms? It's all about mindset, and I did not have a good first trip. I passed out. I literally fucking fainted. I walked home in the dark by myself because I felt like I had to move. Like, every joint started, like, twitching. And it took forever to hit me because they were older, and the people that I was with took more and were less affected than I was. And I think it was because not only anxiety, but because I had a bad mindset before I tripped. I was talking about my schizophrenic grandfather. Don't do that. Don't do that. Also, everyone was mad at me the other day because I took shrooms and I made a video about it. And I was already, like, kind of a little depressy. And everyone's like, you're not supposed to take them in a bad mindset. And I'm like, I'm chronically depressed. Like, I don't think there's ever, like, a good mindset. If anything, I was feeling really good earlier that day. Just because I cried does not mean I'm in a bad way. I don't let everything fuck up my day, believe it or not. I touched the cat and I'm, like, getting sniffly. But yeah, definitely all about mindset. You can meditate before, you can journal before. I've done that, and that made for a way better trip when I tripped in the mountains. I also think environment is everything, and then if you're really worried about it, just do a microdose first, work your way up. Juliana asks, how do I get the motivation to do my schoolwork? I don't know. What really helped me, because I'm the type of bitch that falls behind on assignments and things, like, I failed a lot of classes. I think I'm doing an extra lap a fifth year, not gonna lie. I honestly got a whiteboard and just started mapping out every single day, and I'd put it not only on the whiteboard but in my agenda and on a Google Calendar, so then I was held accountable in 3 different forms. I think also, like, literally eating right and getting a proper amount of sleep can help your patience with schoolwork so much. Last year, I was just not sleeping, bendering all the time, and my grades were shit. And this year, like, grades still weren't great, but definitely better than last semester, and I missed less assignments. I fucked up less. Didn't go to school as much, though. I will say that. Hate being sober, Chief Keef. Yeah, I would, like, honestly just recommend keeping yourself organized and on top of things, and that's, like, the best way to stay motivated is knowing that, like, shit is due, and if you want to do stuff during the weekend, like, you need to get your shit done first. I think that's what motivates me to get stuff done is, like, a little reward system as well. Jenna asks, I'm dating a guy that my mother hates. Advice. My mom has hated quite a few of my boyfriends, but at the end of the day, like, it's your life, you know? Like, parents love to assert their authority on you and what you do, and there's this long-standing belief, traditional belief, which have we not proved in the last couple, I don't know, fucking hundreds of years, that traditional beliefs are often wrong. But there's a traditional belief that you should respect your elders and respect the people that put you here. No, okay? Call me Caucasian, but, like, I didn't ask to be fucking born, okay? I don't owe anyone anything. My parents, as much as they were, like, great parents, they were also fucking disrespectful several times in my life. And I have a lot of friends who won't talk back to their parents. I will. I have a problem with authority figures. My mom used to tell me I have oppositional defiant disorder, but I seriously think, especially as you get older, it is so important to stand up for yourself, for your parents, especially if they're fucking abusive. Like, you need to not stand for that treatment, and if she gets mad at you or tries to get super manipulative about you dating this guy, like, make sure that you're standing up for yourself, you know? Like, at the end of the day, it's really none of her business, and she's supposed to just love you and support you through all of your bad decisions. That's the role of being a parent, and then to take care of you when shit hits the fan. And if she's not happy enough to do that, I think you might need to remind her who decided to be born. Not you. Bionic Fox, I don't know her name. How do I know my worth? How do I not settle for dumb boys? I was literally just talking about this on the phone the other day, and this is something I struggle with. I'm really good at doing it sober and knowing my worth and setting my boundaries sober, but when I drink, that's when I become a little bit for the streets. And I think that's, like, why I talk about it so much is because I feel a lot of shame surrounding it, even though it's not even a shameful thing. Like, if you want to sleep around, sleep the fuck around. Like, do what makes you happy. As long as you're not using it in an abusive way, and I think I do, and that's why I feel extra shame about it. But what I would say is, like, knowing your worth all comes with, like, loving yourself and knowing yourself. So that all comes with, like, a long journey of self-discovery, and I think I would just start doing things like expressing daily gratitude and, like, for things in your life or things that you've given to yourself or opportunities you've given to yourself, and saying, like, 3 things you love about yourself every day or writing it out. That has, like, drastically helped my self-worth. Journaling in general, like, if you aren't ready to get into therapy, a good first step is journaling and just looking up prompts that make you uncomfortable. Like, I have this whole journaling deck from We're Not Really Strangers, and every time I pick up a card from the prompts that makes me, I don't know, like, anxious to even think about answering, I push myself to answer it more, you know? I need a sip. My mouth is so dry. Peyton asked, how do I get over a guy that I'm in love with, but he hasn't texted me in months? Okay, let me give you the MK tried and true way. And it's not necessarily getting over it, but I physically cannot get over it immediately. Like, I have to grieve on my own, and I have a really bad habit of checking up on them, so I'm a no contact. I ghost, block, delete, remove, pictures gone, text messages gone. Don't even give yourself the opportunity, you know what I mean? Like, I just get rid of it all. Marie Kondo them from my life. And then I keep the snap memories because I don't look back on that as much. More so in the camera roll. It's really bad, especially because, you know, I do TikTok and I have to, like, look at all my photos. So yeah, that's what I would recommend is just simply go ghost. And that's the only way to do it. And eventually they come, they go, but they always come back. I've never had a guy not come back. One in my whole life. Oh my god. Why did my voice just sound so, like, ogre-y? Shrek. And in the morning, I'm making waffles. Julia asks, I hate change, but also hate where I am in life. How can I flip the script and not trigger anxiety? That is also a great question. I would say take a road trip. I'm not going to lie. That always made me feel like I was in my own little teen movie. You know what I mean? It's the perfect amount of anxiety. And it also kind of feels like you're doing something productive. And you can really go places for super cheap. I know it's a bad season for it right now, but Airbnbs are not that expensive. And if you go with like a friend or, I don't know, like a boy or a girl or a partner, super fun, you know? I think that would be a good idea. I should do that. What the fuck am I saying? I kind of want to go to Tennessee for my birthday. I've been thinking about it. Have a little Hannah Montana movie themed birthday party. I'm turning 22. I need to grow the fuck up. Claire asks, what do you do when you don't feel like you anymore and want to reconnect with yourself? This is crazy, but going home. And I know that that's dumb. I also like to do things that I did as a kid. Like something that makes me really feel connected to my inner child. Blowing bubbles, like at a darty, I like cried a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I was having like the best time of my life. I also used to be a big horse girl, so like seeing animals really, really helps me feel like that. But going home, I would say like the most helps me reconnect with that inner child version of me, and it's like it feels like the root, you know, like the root of yourself, and that's how I just like remembering where I came from. Sometimes I forget. Like, it's really easy to get caught up with everything. That and, like, going by a body of water, I always feel, like, 10 times more relaxed. I don't know what the science is behind that. Zodiac? I'm a Pisces. Big water baby. Ada asks, are you as unbothered as you appear to be, or is it just a front? If you're unbothered, can you share why? I would say I'm unbothered, but I would also say I'm like very extremely bothered and no in between. Like I'm either very don't give a fuck or very I want to bulldoze a whole house, maybe a town. And I think that there's really no direct solution to not caring anymore, because I think everyone cares. It seems like people don't, because I don't show you guys every single part of my life that I'm worried about. Like, I'm worried about how I look right now, but I'm just too stoned to think about it. And I think that's largely a huge, huge factor in it, is I'm too fucking baked to give a shit or even notice what the fuck anyone else is thinking about me. I live in MK world. Like, I just don't live in reality. I see the world through rose-colored glasses or fucking, I don't know. I don't even glitter. Like, that's how I see the world. I see everything for what it is not, and I have to live that way. Or else I'd be extremely fucking depressed, and I'm already depressed, you know? Like, I don't think there really is a solution to that one. It's just time and age and just, like, knowing how small you are. You're so tiny. No one's gonna give a fuck what you do. No one cares. Like, once you have enough people say to you, like, no one gives a fuck, it finally gets through to you one day. And I think you just need to keep telling yourself that. That's a good affirmation. Isabel asks, how do you find a sneaky link you won't catch feelings for but doesn't give you the ick? Babe, I'm on the same fucking wavelength right now. Or, like, finding a sneaky link that doesn't jerk you the fuck around, because that's my issue. Like, I've found sneaky links that I like, but they only want to hit me up. Like, I had, oh my god, one of my exes and I hung out recently, not proud of this, and he was, like, talking to me about stuff, and I was like, yeah, I remember when I hit you up every day for like a month when I was drinking all summer? And he goes, yeah, I hated that. And I was like, is that why you didn't answer? And he's like, yeah, I don't want you to like need me. I'm like, you fucking asshole, like, piece of shit. God, but like, why was that attractive to me? God, I have problems. But yeah, it's difficult. I think like I don't know. I also really do get the ick easily. Like, it happened recently for me, too. I've had just a lot of clinginess. Like, either I'm getting no attention or way too much of it, and I don't fuck with that. Like, I need somewhere in between where, like, they have their own life and I have mine, because I've done the whole hang out every day thing, and I've done the whole hang out every 3 days thing, and both are equally miserable. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to rock with that. I want to be treated like a first priority, but like they also care about themselves and their lives too. I don't know. I want to play a little bit of a game. I think it's finding the balance. Let me know when you figure that one out though, because I could use some advice on that. Kenna asks, how did you learn to know your worth, or how are you in the process of learning? I kind of answered this one before with the whole knowing my worth and stuff like that with guys, but Yeah, I think like journaling and therapy and like meditation and just kind of like reflecting on your own actions and wanting to understand yourself is a huge part of knowing yourself as a whole. Like you have to want to get you and know why you work. And I've just been figuring out all my parts lately, and it's crazy. Like, to understand how all these things that have happened to me in the past have just, like, simultaneously layered up to create me into the person that I am today. It sounds corny, but then when you, like, learn about it, you're like, oh, my God, there's all these different moving parts. Like, I'm literally a machine. Man is a machine. Courtney asks, how do I stop comparing my life to others? It's not that I'm jealous or hate mine. I think that's natural. I think that's, like, also a tribal instinct. You know what I mean? Where, like, you kind of have this competitive instinct to want to do better. I have had a couple friends try to start social media, and I think that like gives me the ick in a way, and I like catch myself getting a little like offset by that. I'm like, why the fuck does it matter? Like, no one's you, bitch. No one is you. And you've worked really hard, and I know deep down that like they're not doing it to be like, I want to come for MK and I want to get bigger than her. Like, but it feels like that sometimes. So, like, you tell yourself that the world revolves around you, and I think you just need to be grateful. Gratitude would help in that. Like, the 3 things you're grateful for, I'd recommend doing that for you, because it would just honestly, like, help you appreciate and be present, you know? Because I used to struggle with that more. I think I've gotten way better about it. Cheyenne asks, how do you deal with the feeling of missing family and friends when you're hours away? That, honestly, is something I'm still, like, overcoming. My dog passed away last year, and I had to say goodbye on FaceTime, and I'm a huge animal lover. She was, like, my little baby, and I fought really hard to try to help her stay alive, because she just had really bad diabetes. Like, she ate so much. She was a vacuum dog, ate everything off the ground, and just, like, a mess. So I was nervous to say goodbye, and it made me think about all the other things that could happen. Like, my grandma's getting old and is moving into assisted living, and it would break my heart if I wasn't there in the last stages of her life or to even say goodbye. And that's just something that I have to live with, you know? And that sucks. It sucks. I don't want to think about it ever, but there's definitely, like, with anxiety, you catastrophize and you think of like those worst case scenarios and all those bad thoughts, and I think my brain is like, part of me is like, you should move home after school and like go and just be with family, but I owe it to myself to take my own path, and I owe it to myself to be selfish. And that kind of goes with knowing your self-worth, like, and not owing your family anything. You don't owe anyone anything. You don't owe anyone anything. Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, I think just knowing that I'm doing what I can for me right now, and it's okay to be selfish sometimes, because I think that makes me feel shame too, is like that I left sometimes. My younger sister kind of said like, you left me at one point, and that it really fucked me up. I was like, I didn't mean to leave you. Ooh, 2 different Sabrinas asked questions after the same time. First, Sabrina says, how do you stay so confident? Because I feel like you make me more confident. Literally live in your silly little delusions. Like, tell yourself, oh my God, I'm so hot and so perfect. I think that's where half my confidence came from, was joking, like, sarcastically about being self-confident. And some people perceived it as me being serious. That, and I, like, think I'm way funnier than I actually am. And I've taken a lot of time to put self-work in. And all that therapy and all that journaling has eventually led to where we are now. I don't know how it happened, but I think also my emotional intelligence level and understanding my emotional and physical reactions to things has helped my confidence as well. Like, literally just knowing yourself, the power of fucking understanding you, dude. Like, I don't know. It's crazy. Vape rip. Can we take a bong rip really quick? Can we take a little one? I really need one. This is becoming a lot. It's stressy for me. Let's all take a little rip break. Let's read another question while I pack this bowl. Other Sabrina asks, how to not chronic smoke before every event, but is it even bad? Nah. Honestly, I took a 2-day tea break, 72 hour, and it was really rewarding, and it did reset my tolerance a lot. And if you stay busy enough and you just tell yourself you're not going to smoke, like, I've dumped the water out of my bong, and if I ever, like, get high and forget that I'm not supposed to be ripping, I just look at it unfilled, and when I'm going to fill it, I'm like, oh, there's a reason it's not filled right now. You know what I mean? All right. Cheers. Cheers, cheers, cheers. See one, send one. Just got weed in my bed. I'm gonna have to, like, shake my fucking blankets out after this. Why is this not... Turn up my volume a little bit. Alright. ASMR. ASMR. I hate ASMR. My sister told me it gives her tingles. The fuck is tingles? What does that mean? We're having a sleepover right now. Can I lean back? You guys mind? Alright. Emily asks how to... Police sirens. Emily asks how to get back into being motivated after being in a depression episode. I usually first notice by my room. Like, I'll start to get, like, all these dirty piles of clothes, mostly. A lot of boxes will pile up because I get PR. And then, I have a lot of cups. I'll start eating takeout all the time, which I've been doing recently, but I'm going to blame that on finals. We're not going to talk about the depression and just pretend like going home is going to magically cure me. Maybe Christmas will. I don't know. I asked for an iPad. We'll see how that goes. Maybe Santa will deliver it. But yeah, honestly, I think, like, I don't even know what I was going to say. What was I talking about? Yeah, I think, like, definitely just cleaning up your space can help. Like, wash your bed sheets. Underrated, like, whole thing. Take a shower, do some self-care, like, dedicate a day to just getting your shit together. And then, like I said earlier, like, putting everything on a planner. That helps me stay out of the mental health ruts. Is just having everything planned out. Still happens, so don't be hard on yourself too. Like, don't get down on yourself if you are having a mental breakdown too. Like, it happens. Shandley asks, being a university student while also being a weed consumer, how they affect each other. Yeah, definitely difficult. I think, like, I honestly get high before every class. Like, every class ever, I've gotten high before presentations. I smoke before everything. And I think it definitely has affected my productivity levels, more so in quarantine when it was easy to just, like, get baked during class. I threw up during a Zoom class on my laptop one time. I was so fucking hungover, and I took a chop. It was just so easy, and I would sleep through them all the time. I think when you're in class, though, it doesn't really affect it if you're a functional baked. Like, there's literal functional addicts in every sense of the drug. Doesn't matter what you do. Like, my mom has seen functional heroin users at a rehab who have just hidden it for their whole lives. Between the toes. Fucking crazy. But, yeah, like, if you just get used to doing it, it doesn't affect it as much as I would say other drugs do. Like, weed is pretty mellow. And I think having anxiety in a way definitely is, like, medication. However, yeah, I definitely, like, to kind of explain, I didn't smoke bong until halfway through my freshman year, and I was taking a class that was, like, multi-discussion, and I didn't get high before class at first, and then I started, like, right before winter break. I would get baked before every class, because I was, like, kind of dating this guy, too, who would rip in his bathroom. And the professors noticed that I didn't, like, talk as much. I'm getting, like, sniffly in class. And, yeah, that was a problem. But I think it does help at the end of the day. Definitely less anxious. Micah says situationships. Mika? Sorry if I said that wrong. I don't know if I have good advice on that, because I personally hate fucking situationships. Like, what you see is what you get. I'm all or nothing, baby. Like, I'm either in it or I'm not. And you know pretty early on, like, I'll let things die after a month if I'm not interested, or it's, like, too much work or not enough work. You know, it's got to be, like, I'm Goldilocks. The porridge has to be just the right temp. And I think, like, I don't know. I've had, like, one situationship that's really gnarly that, like, I saw for a really long time, like, probably months, maybe even years. I still am in contact with him, and he calls himself one of my exes, so It was like almost dating. That was like the reason why we broke up, is because I kept pushing for a label and he like didn't want it. So I don't know. I don't personally like situationships at all. I'm not for them. So that's my advice on just don't get in them. Hagen said how to pull while short. I honestly don't think height matters. I've dated guys who are my height, like an inch taller than me. Actually, like most of my boyfriends or the guys that I've really liked have all been short. So work on that personality, king. Haley asked, how do you stay so confident in who you are and ignore the haters for a sense of anxious bitch? Yeah, that's like kind of answered in my questions before. I think like therapy and just building up a thick skin and like being confident in yourself and knowing that hurt people hurt other people. That's my best advice, and I always remember that whenever I get a hate comment, especially when you go to therapy and you start learning about inner children. Any person who's ever spited me since I learned about fucking inner children, I just see their wounded little baby version of themselves. Like, who hurt you along the lines that you felt this emotionally manipulative, you know? Or, like, you had to be like this. You're in fight or flight mode constantly. You just, like, kind of approach it from a place of empathy, you know? Lay or lie, I could be saying that wrong, sorry, asks, cutting off not good friends. Same method with breakups. It's all the same, just go no contact. I check up on old friends that I've cut off too, but you have to know your self-worth. Like, this is ultimately what this all goes back to, is like carrying yourself with pride and like just knowing that you are who you are and you know what's best for you, and like no one else can have an opinion on that, you know? Because I've had a lot of people that I've had to cut off that like don't understand why they're being cut off, and it's like, I'm doing this for me. Like, at the end of the day, our friendship is not beneficial to me, and it's a two-way street. Like, if I see myself putting in more effort, there's no reason I'm going to be friends with you. Just be mature about it and then just cut ties, you know? Like, know that you deserve better than that. Lemon Boy, that's a funny username, has asked, has college been worth it so far? Yeah, for sure. As someone, like I said earlier, who has had like an entire family history of family members dropping out of college, I would suggest going. I feel like I've learned a lot and also made a lot of valuable connections that no one in my family has. Am I extremely in debt? Yes, but I feel like because I'm pushing myself to this extent, like, I'm meeting more people for this reason, and I think it's been great because of that. Yajira asks, freshman year of college advice. I, again, back to the making friends thing. Put yourself out there and just be friendly, because who you meet in your first year is like very indicative of like who you're going to continue to meet and how people are going to think of you, especially if you go to a small school like me. Just try to be like pleasant, you know, and go out of your way to be nice, because I think everyone's all scared. You have to remember that, like, everyone's on their own for the first time. Unless they went to boarding school, those motherfuckers got a leg up, when I tell you. I wish I went to boarding school. Really's, I don't really know what she's asking me how to get over someone who ghosted you. This goes back to the block, delete, remove thing. Like, why are we going to let people check up on us who wanted to remove themselves from our lives in the first place? Block, delete, remove. Live by it, breathe by it, sleep by it, exist in it. You know, like, heal from that when you're ready to. And I don't like when they try to come back when I'm not ready. I usually like my year of silence. So that's like my favorite way. Sydney asks, do you experience imposter syndrome? How do you deal? Yeah, I think like all the time my friends try to congratulate me on all these like milestones that are happening within this social media career, and I like don't even realize it until other people applaud me for it. Like today my manager let me buy a nice bag, and she's like, you've been working really hard this year, like it's been a really rough year for you, and you've continued to like persist and just, you know, get over these hurdles. And I was like, it actually has been a hard year. And now that you mention it, I have been working really hard to just, like, exist despite. And I do deserve a treat. Like, it's hard to remember to reward yourself and, like, give yourself, you know, the job well done until other people do. Which is weird, because I always used to think when I first learned about imposter syndrome and celebrities that experienced it, like, it was crazy. And watching the Selena Gomez documentary, like, shit like that, I just thought it was absurd. But it's definitely a real thing. Nessa asks, how do I cope with having a small social circle or not many friends? This is like, again, getting to know yourself and knowing your worth. You could be your own best friend. I, in high school, had two probably consistent friends. One, actually. And I was just more of a floater. So I think it's good to have a small inner circle and then just be like outwardly friendly and kind of, vague with people you don't really know. Like I would have a lot of people I consider my friends, but not a lot of people I would consider close friends. And even my close friends, I'm constantly reevaluating. Like I don't trust anyone. I have a lot of trust issues, not just for men, but in general. And I think like just knowing that what's meant to be will be and what's meant for you won't pass by you. So you'll make friends in due time. And I think just valuing the ones that you have and working on the ones that you have every single day is super important. Hang out with your friends' friends. If you like them, they probably have good taste in people too, right? But not always. Not always. Shay asks how to really get into journaling and have it benefit you. I just need a little push. I had the same problem. I could never finish a journal. I could never get into it. That's why I recommend getting decks that ask you questions or looking into journal prompts, because I would just try to write about my everyday, and I don't always do that. I'll do that when I feel like I have a lot to talk about, but days are fucking mundane sometimes. So I would get the We're Not Really Strangers self-reflection kit. That's what really got me started on my journal journey, and that was the first journal I ever finished. So yeah, totally recommend it. You can buy a bunch of expansion packs too if you run out of questions. Trying to read more questions. There's so many, you guys. I'm so sorry if I don't get to yours. We'll have to do another advice episode. Hangover Cure, Karma as a Cat asks, I love a pickle, and I've recently been told from TikTok that a butter noodle pickle combo is unstoppable, but I personally believe in the pickle and the blue Gatorade, light blue Gatorade, not the dark blue combo. That is my go-to hangover cure. And if that fails, a bagel and a coffee. If that fails, a burger. Something greasy, obviously. And I love, oh my god, what is it called? Zofran. It's like an anti-nausea medication. It is beautiful. It is the hangover fucking cure. I used to get it for my ex. This sounds so sketchy. I used to get it for my ex who threw up every time he drank because he would just get severely nauseous when he was hungover. I feel like he had gluten allergy, but whatever. And what was I going to say? Yeah, he just got sick all the time and he would take it. And then when we broke up, I still got it and I would start taking it, and I used it in Vegas, and it was the godsend for my friend group. I swear to God. And I still give it to people if they really need it. Ashley asks, I want to smoke more, but my boyfriend wouldn't be a fan. I live with him. What do I do? I would say make a little she shed situation. Get a little tent outside. Session it. Find a common ground there. There are definitely Ooh, Smoke Buddy. That helped me in college, my freshman year when I lived in the dorms. No smell. Eliminates the odors. There's also, I know someone that went to my school. He's an alumni. His brand is called Smoke Trap. So if you're looking for a device that's a little bit more eco-friendly, you can change the filters in that. Also very good and works the exact same. Abby says, dating my boyfriend for 4 months. We're both afraid to hook up because we're both inexperienced. Help, I love you. Oh my god, you're just overthinking it. I say just get crazy. Maybe I don't know if you guys are old enough to drink, but drink a little bit and just fool around. Get silly with each other, start making out and touching each other. You know what I mean? It's really not. That's I went in blind a lot. I had a guy say to me after, I think it was the second guy I ever hooked up with, actually had sex with. He looked at me after, pats me on the back and goes, you'll get better with practice, MK. And I remember being mortified, but he was right. It's just something that with time you kind of figure out what each other want, and being really open and communicative about it is super helpful with the nerves. I used to talk a lot about it with guys, and it made it easier to try things out, you know? Claire asks how to not be a doormat. I definitely have struggled with this so much in the past, all the time. And what I would say for that is literally just standing up for yourself. I think this all goes back to the self-love, self-worth, healing yourself from past traumas. I hate to say, but all these problems you guys are going through, I just want to tell you all to go to therapy. And I know that's such a horrible statement to just say and not really easy advice, but this is something that comes with years of working on yourself, because you've obviously fallen in a pattern of treating yourself this way to the point where you've told yourself in your head that you deserve nothing good to happen to you, and you just don't even know how to advocate for yourself. I was in that place. I've been there. And all I can say to you is that, like, it gets better the more that you learn to understand the way that you work and why you started to accept such horrible treatment in the first place. You know, like, where does that come from? You just got to look deeper and understand yourself, and it helps you empathize with yourself, and then understand when you would, you know, in certain situations allow yourself to be a doormat and stop it before it happens. It's all about self-awareness, too, I really feel like. McKenna asked how to not let weed take over your social life. I definitely have nights where I make the conscious decision to not smoke before I go out. Because I had a guy say to me, I used to leave frat parties all the time to go smoke bowls, and he would work the door all the time because he was a little bit introverted. And he'd catch me on my way out, and he'd be like, why do you always dip out early? And I'm like, I'm going to take a fucking bowl. I was in there for an hour. I don't want to be there. And he goes, you really need to stop smoking before you go out. And then the light bulb went off, and now I just, like, make a decision if, like, I'm already feeling socially awkward or anxious to go out to not smoke copious amounts, you know? Like, it's okay to take a bowl while getting ready, but don't, like, overdo it. And don't smoke while you're out, you know? Sea Salt Blondie asks, how do you do your sobriety month? I just love drinks by myself. Otherwise, my anxiety is so fucking high. I would start small. Start with a week. You know, like, I was scared to do a tea break from weed for the first time for the same reason. Because I told myself in my head that I couldn't. And don't say that you're going to try to do it. Say, I'm going to do it. Like, all about the self-talk. All about how you approach the situation. Think about law of attraction, manifestation. Like, you just need to say to yourself, like, I'm done taking a weekend off. I'm taking a week off. Even a weekend. Like, if you can do 72 hours without it, you really should do 2 weeks to fully detox your body from everything. And that was my motivation, was like, I'm going to feel better. Like, imagine the future you want for yourself too. That's what my therapist has been saying to me about the binge drinking. Like, when I want to get super fucked up, destroyed, trash, like, imagine what would older me look back on this time and think of this. Like, is she going to be like, I feel for her. Like, that was a really hard time, and that was a really shitty way to cope. I have a tickle in my throat. Hamza asks, and I'm answering his because he always comments on my stuff, should I use my last resort and email her, or is that out of pocket? I say go for it, King. I'd be honored. I'm not going to say this person's name, but someone asked, when did you know you needed to go to a therapist? I knew that I needed to go to a therapist when... These are people from my personal life. This is why I want to answer these, but I'm not going to name them because I know they probably want to be anonymous. I knew I needed to go to a therapist when I was really young. My parents put me in it. And I think I'm thankful for that, really grateful for that, because I don't think I would have known until I was probably... Like, I decided myself that I really wanted to be in therapy probably when I was 16, very briefly, and then permanently, and knowing for the rest of my life I would need to be in it at 18 and maybe like 19. Like, quarantine really hurt me. What should I find out before going into a relationship with somebody? Stalk their tagged pictures. All I'm gonna say. If they don't have social media, run. It's fucking 2022. Scary. Another person, who I shall let remain anonymous, asks how to deal with childish drama between friends when you're in your 20s. I still have this happen, and I'm just shutting it down. I don't respond anymore. Like, I just don't give them the power, because it's all about, like, getting a reaction out of you. A lot of the times that people try to cause problems or drama at this fucking age, like at this grown-ass age. So I just don't give it to them. Or I do briefly, and then it's over. No contact. Like, I love going no contact. It's such a power play, and everyone's like, blocking is so mature. No, it's a literal fucking boundary. It's protecting your peace, especially in the digital sphere. I'll answer one more, and this is from my girl, Lily. How to overcome FOMO / fear of not fitting in. I used to be really annoyed by the fact that I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, and that I, like, wasn't invited to things, and that was, like, a huge struggle of insecurity for me. But being alone for so long, I got really comfortable with myself. Really, really comfortable with how I just, like, am as a person and how I act and the way that I, like, just exist. And I had a lot of formative people that I met in my life that really laid it out for me. I can't even take credit for who I am today, because part of me knows that a lot of these little parts were also influenced not just by my parents and the bad things that happened to me in my childhood, but the people that I continued to meet growing up. And I don't let FOMO get to me, because I know that I've met the people that I'm supposed to, and what's happened to me has happened because it was meant to, and that what's meant for me won't go by me. Like, I've really been living by that whole statement for pretty much my whole life, because I just know that, like, everything has happened to me for a reason, and if it hasn't, I've at least gotten something from it, you know? Like, there's been something to take away from every traumatic thing and every, night that I've stayed in or missed and, like, ended up spending with myself. And I think that's just, like, something you have to grow up and realize, is that it's kind of cooler to not fit in than to fit in. Like, I like being different. That, and it gets you more attention. Who doesn't love attention? Me when I'm socially anxious? I don't know. Well, I hope that why can I not speak? Like, it's been the longest fucking day of my life. I need to start packing. I hope that that's been informative in some way, and I've been able to influence you guys in a more positive way than to just, like, get fucked up. I don't even know if this is recorded. I'm literally looking at it in my mirror. I don't know if you guys saw me look off. The viewfinder probably can move out. We aren't that technologically advanced yet. There's a reason I'm bringing the camera home so my brother can look at it. But yeah, I'm really excited to just, like, I don't know, see you guys and be in this whole new element of the podcast. And I'm glad we could do this again for another episode, and kind of feel like we're having a sleepover right now, and it's making me smiley. Hopefully we get Mary Jane Not Kate back, but until then, follow the blonde girl. Follow at Mary-Kate.Willis on TikTok. My Twitter's Mary Jane Not Kate. My Snapchat's Mary Jane Not Kate. My Spotify's Mary-Kate Willis. My Instagram's Mary-Kate.Willis. Stay connected. Keep in contact. This might go up a day late, so forgive me. I've sinned. But I love you. Thank you for joining me, and we'll talk soon, besties. It's been a pleasure, and get high for me. Go take a bowl. Okay. Good night.